I honestly cannot believe that this exists. Stones to Abbigale. If you haven't heard of this yet, consider yourself lucky. This book was written by no one else than the one and only Onision. I randomly found out about this since I haven't seen a video from Onision in quite a few years actually. But a few people on the internet whose content I follow regularly inform their viewers about Onision's bullshit, and there's a shitload of bullshit about him on the internet. So I do know about most of the things that made him infamous for basically everyone that is not part of his lovely fan base. But anyway, let me tell you my thoughts on this thing that he published. First of all, do not buy this book. Don't do it. Just know. It's a waste of money, it's a waste of trees, and before I get a stupid comment about why did you buy it if you hate it? Yeah, I haven't bought this book. Do I really look that stupid? But I did listen to someone reading this book. So far, she has read 7 chapters, and she said she'll read all 20 of them. Good luck to her. She'll need it. And thank goodness that somebody decided to read this because I probably would have given up after reading a single page of this drivel. This is perhaps the worst book ever. Even 50 Shades of Grey is better than this because at least that one is so stupid that it makes you laugh. This one is just so stupid that it gives you a migraine. I don't know where I should begin. Basically, imagine if you would combine everything that is wrong with Twilight. Take everything that is cringeworthy about those fanfictions that are so bad that they go viral, stuff like My Immortal, minus the parts that are so bad that they make you laugh, and of course, the main difference between those fanfictions and this book. Those fanfictions were written by trolls, so they are so bad on purpose. This one wasn't written by a troll. Yeah. Because this one is actually this book, if you can call it even that, is actually genuine. So yeah, Twilight, everything cliche in crappy fanfictions, combined with The Room. That horrible, horrible, horrible movie. It's actually so bad that it's funny. Yeah, altogether this is quite a horrible combination, and this book is even worse than that. So yeah, the characters in this book are completely unlikable or have no personality at all. They're basically paper cutouts. The main character, I think his name is James. The reason why I am forgetting his name is because I call that character all the time Greg, since Onision is basically inserting himself into the story. When you read this, you just know that it's him, or to say it better, it's basically a character that has the exact same views on everything like Onision has. Plus, he is a freaking psychopath who is obsessed with Abigail for some random reason. Basically, he's like Edward from Twilight. Plus, this book is written in the freaking first person. And yet it describes at times how some people feel, what they think, yada yada yada. When you have something like this, you need to have the book in third person. at least for those parts, because otherwise it just makes no freaking sense. And he also has a god complex, and he behaves like he is the most important human in this world and everyone else is a useless peasant. Basically like Onision in a nutshell. So every other character has no personality except they are there. Abigail is for how many? Alright, I listened so far to 7 chapters. In the first 6 chapters, she is basically just there. She does nothing, and for some reason, Greg is obsessed with her. I mean, Onision, I mean, James, uh, whatever. He simply cannot get enough of her, even though if you would ask him to describe her, he would probably say, her name is Abigail. Yeah, that's basically it. So deep. She is even worse than Bella Swan because she has even less of a personality and it simply doesn't work. James is supposed to be obsessed with her, but they barely interact with each other at first, and then one of a sudden they are a couple or something. I admit I didn't pay much attention to this thing when I listened to it because the book is so freaking bad that I constantly rolled my eyes. And when things are so bad, my brain basically just prevents trauma by not storing those awful informations about this book in my head, which is very good for preventing headaches. But it really sucks if you decide to make a review for something. So yeah, basically Abigail has the personality of a plastic bag. And all other characters are even more useless. They're just because they have like one purpose. That's basically it. You could just call them person 1, person 2, person 3. It doesn't really matter because they are basically like paper cutouts. So yeah, the first 6 chapters are basically this. James is being a complete douchebag all the freaking time. And everybody is just there. And for some reason, people actually like him. Yeah, in real life, people would avoid you since you are a complete idiot, James. I mean, Onision, I mean, Greg. Yeah. Plus, the book is full of bad grammar. Really bad grammar. I really don't think that he even proofread this thing before he even published it because, or maybe he just skipped through and maybe a mistake is there. Next page, oh, there's a mistake. Next page, just he basically didn't really care. He put no effort into this book when he wrote it. He put no effort into this book when he proofread it, if he even read it, because I seriously doubt that he even wasted a lot of time to even make sure that this looks credible. And yeah, this book is basically so bad that your brain wants to commit suicide. And yeah, it basically just drags on and drags on and drags on, and it goes nowhere for like what, 5 chapters? And James gets more on your nerves with every single freaking sentence in that book because it's all about him. He's the most important person in this world. And there's also a big problem with this book. Have you ever heard of Show, Don't Tell? This book is basically just tell and never show. And then came the chapter um, that basically kind of shocked me when I read it because I was like, seriously? This has got to be a joke, a really bad joke. So, yeah, chapter 7, my lucky number. I felt really fucked up after this. And basically, I was asking myself for like 10 minutes why? Just why? So, school shooting happens, caused by Abigail's, I think, ex boyfriend. The book simply sucks so much that my brain is just trying its best to forget that it exists. Sorry. So I forgot his name. But I do know that it just happens. And James has the balls to complain about how people react during the school shooting. Yeah, because if a school shooting happens, people totally aren't scared, and there is no panic at all. So James gets into the school, and the book describes the injured and dead people in such details that when I heard that, I seriously needed to sit down, and at one moment I had to pause the video of the reading and just drink something and stared into the ceiling for a few minutes. I have read a lot of bad fan fictions. I have read a lot of bad books. I have read, I have seen bad movies, but rarely did anything give me such a reaction. Most of the time, I just simply rolled my eyes or facepalmed and just went on. This basically, it's really hard to describe. Yeah. So yeah, James shows no real emotions for the dying people. I mean, he basically behaves like a bunch of insects got poisoned and just lay there dead. That's the impression that I got. So yeah, he searches for Abigail, and I'm sorry, but during the whole book, I never get the impression that he actually cares about her. He mentions her all the time, but it's more like he declared her as his property. You never get the impression like he really loves her. It's just some kind of weird mix of obsession and lust with no real love behind it. So I think that how many 50 people died in that senseless massacre? It just comes out of nowhere, and all the people who survived just immediately move on. It's like nothing happened. I don't have a problem if people write about tragedies. Some of my favorite books and movies are about tragedies, but this is written in such a twisted way, it just makes me feel dirty when I heard it. Onision more than obviously doesn't know what trauma is, because nobody would react like this. I mean, people died. Over 50 people apparently died. The people who survived would probably be scarred for the rest of their life. And they certainly wouldn't be okay after a day or so. You simply cannot have something like this in your work and just write, oh, this happened. It's sad. Mom, what's for dinner today? I'm hungry. Yeah, that's basically this book. The only thing that could make this worse is if it was based off a real tragedy that happened. Yeah, I have already read such fanfictions like Goku and Anne Frank in Until the End of Time, or that fanfiction that is a crossover between The Land Before Time and 9/11. It thankfully is no longer online, although I do think that a video in which a bunch of people read it is probably still on YouTube. Well, at least it was 2 years ago when I found it. So yeah, Stones to Abbigale, don't read it, you have been warned. And from what I read elsewhere, it also, in the later chapters, has really stupid sex scenes, and it apparently even gets worse. I'm not going to make a video on the other chapters. I'm probably going to watch Johnny Riella reading those chapters, but it's basically curiosity killing the cat because I simply want to know, does it get that bad? Will it get even worse? And then it does. And I'm like, why? Just why? Yeah. So yeah, as I said, those sex scenes apparently are no different than those crappy fanfictions like My Immortal. I'll see, I haven't gotten so far. And post the link to the seventh chapter, to the reading of the seventh chapter in the description. So yeah, Janriela said that she will make the videos public once she finishes the whole book. I simply needed to say something about this when I heard this because I haven't facepalmed so much over something in quite a long while, and considering that I often read really craptastic fanfictions, that really isn't a good sign for a book to give me such a reaction. This, honestly, I think is the worst book that I have ever not really read. I listened to someone else reading it, but you get the point. It's the worst book that I know of. So yeah, I needed to say that, and yeah, that's basically it. I'm going to go to sleep now since it's quite late actually. I'm really tired and I'm even in my pajamas. But okay. For saying your thoughts, you don't have to look nice, you just need to sit in front of a microphone, or in this case, a webcam, and say what you think. And that's what I did. So, yeah, I will make more videos sometime in the future. At the moment, my life is quite hectic. So, yeah, bye.